Sorry for the gap. With the move for studio, the odd thing is about to go wrong, so we were busy here talking to ourselves, and now we're going to talk to you because actually we sorted out a few things while we had that hiatus. Let me tell you that it's now 11:30. That it's a lovely day out there, and it's going to stay a lovely day, and it's almost reaching that balmy 15 degrees, a little bit less, but no rain today.
Lovely
the rain has gone
autumn
away.
day. Lovely autumn
And
day.
here she is Liza Page,
Hello,
ready to
everyone.
lead you into the promised
Thank you
land.
for tuning in to Mirador. We are the best station in the world.
Absolutely.
Of course we are. Now then, how are you, Keith?
I'm okay now.
Yeah, but you fell over, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Because I've got Parkinson's, and that is basically what happens. Is the I think it's called the dopamine or something here in the skull. It erodes a little bit. It just wears away a bit at a time, and mine is wearing away. And since it controls movement of arms and legs and so on, this morning it decided to attack my legs just as I was in mid-flight. I'd got my Superman costume on. I'd been into the phone booth. I got changed, and there I was ready to fly, and my legs went.
What a shame.
Yes, and so I fell down. I felt sorry for myself for all of 2 seconds and decided, oh, to hell with this, and got up.
But you know, when we get older, we learn how to fall.
Yes,
don't
we do. We do. That's
like little children bounce, don't they? And then when we grow up, we become sort of stiffer and whatever. But when we get older, I think it's a protection that we develop.
I think
for
it is.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're fine now, aren't
Yes,
you?
I am.
Okay, that's lovely. Okay, you're my lovely Keithy. All right, here we go. Labour. Oh, what a wonderful party. Aren't we lucky to have them in this wonderful country of ours, Labour? Labour Party's mutiny chaos deepens as 11 Burnley councillors resign over Keir Starmer's Gaza stance, including the council's leader, Councillor Afra Asiba Anwar, who has been part of the Labour Party for 10 years, called for 61-year-old leader to resign following a weeks-long furor over his position on the Israeli-Hamas war. Well, somebody's got a bit of sense, haven't they? Or at least 10 people, yeah. Directed energy. Property owners who don't comply will face prison. Rishi Sunak says arrest anti-net zero British people. What is this man talking about? Why are we sending energy to China? Have you got any idea?
Crazy.
Biden requests funding for new COVID vaccine. One that works. Wow.
You know, Joe.
Oh, yeah, all about Joe. You won't try to impersonate him by any chance, will you, when you fell over?
As I was sinking to the floor, it did occur to me, come home, Joe.
Love it. France. Members of the French Senate have introduced a bill to criminalize criticism of the state of Israel, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and hefty fines. 16 French senators propose a law that seeks to punish critics of Israel with 3 tiers of prison time and fines up to 100,000 euros. Yeah, they are getting a little bit frantic, aren't they?
Yeah, I must confess is that frightens me.
Yeah.
Because attacking freedom of speech like that doesn't matter where I stand. I'm certainly not anti-Semitic any more than I'm pro-Arab. But what I do believe is that any country or organization or society needs to be able to stand up to the criticisms made of it by ordinary people. And these are ordinary people who are going to go to prison for this.
Absolutely.
And I think that's astonishing that
and what
anybody
that terrible, dreadful
should go for that.
Oh, it's appalling, absolutely appalling. But no one has taken. Well, no, that's a lot of people. Believe me, have brought him into the picture. Netanyahu, Israel's leader, I mean, virtually allowed those people to walk into the country. It was all planned, and there's so many whistleblowers that are on the net now from Israel, people who worked in the military, and are coming out and saying that there's no possibility that these people could have got in unless they'd been let in. No possibility. One girl, I've never forgotten her name, but I'll remember it for next week. I promise. Most impressed by her. Her English was superb, and she said, I worked on security on those borders, and she said we had earphones in constantly or telephones. She said the security was absolutely unbelievable. And she said if a cockroach walked across it, it would set it off. The alarms were so terribly sensitive. So she said, but how come nobody heard this? And where were the military? She also said that a lot of top brass in Israel left the country 3 days before this attack.
Yes,
that's very interesting.
I think there are a lot of questions.
Tremendous
some
amount.
of whom you raised, being the first to raise, Liza, is what the hell were they? Why were they asleep at the switch?
Exactly.
And the Netanyahu is I was too busy. Does not wash as a prime minister. He's got to be ready for all eventualities. And that's why he got a cabinet, for God's sake.
And he was warned 3 times over a course of 5 weeks that there was going to be a big attack like this. And he said, I was preoccupied with other things. But as you said, his henchmen must have got the warning too. They are insulting our intelligence by coming up with these excuses.
Yeah.
The whole thing was planned. From start to them been planning for a long, long time. These people, bunch of hooligans, pay them a bunch of money and they come in and do anything. And the man has virtually sacrificed, how many hundred people did they?
Thousands.
They
estimate from that initial attack, 1,400 people died.
Yeah.
And alone those who were injured and were affected by it.
Or who might die later from injuries. We never know. He has sacrificed his own people. He has virtually thrown them to the wolves. It is absolutely horrific that a human being can do that. And he's up there taking money off of these people to run the country. And he turned around, though, and said during the pandemic, he said, I've got my own laboratory here. I can test anything I want, and they will do it. I mean,
Did he?
Absolutely. And now to,
when
you don't
want to know the result, don't ask them to perform the action.
Yeah. I mean, to allow this to happen to his own people, to be slaughtered like that, it's a terrible, dreadful thing. And now he did this because he wanted to get the sympathy for the Israelis, the poor Israelis. Look what they've done to my people, so that he could go in and slaughter the other lot, Gaza.
Yeah.
People on the pretense of looking for the terrorists, which is the whole thing is a total hoax. But I want to tell you something. The most dangerous thing, I feel so badly for the Israelis. I feel dreadfully badly because I tell you, these Arab nations I wouldn't put it past them to drop an atomic bomb on Israel.
Well,
I wouldn't put it past them at all.
I think the thing that would stop them, Liza, is that you can't contain the fallout from an atomic bomb. They'd be bombing themselves. But thank God that that's the case.
They would be bombing themselves too, but I mean, they're fanatical, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I don't know whether
totally fanatical.
Yeah,
I mean, these people, these leaders, these
yeah,
it's anything to start World War III so that this WEF lot can take over the world with their
yeah. We all know what you mean. Yeah.
No, I have listen, I have Jewish friends who have family back there. And one time I said, can't you find another country to go to? They said, no, it's our country and we're staying here because I think they're in terrible, terrible danger.
Yeah,
I really do.
I mean, I understand that sentiment. I mean, if it apply it to the UK, would you leave if you thought that?
Yeah, if I had the money and somewhere to go, definitely I would leave. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
No, I probably wouldn't. That would be.
You would stay?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. No, I got too much. I've still got a bit of common sense. I mean, when things were rough, when things were rough, she
knows how to punch low.
I didn't mean to be rude. I didn't know. That was very rude of me. I do apologize. But listen, the Jews had enough sense to get out of Germany when it was rough, didn't they? I mean, heavens.
Well,
only if they had money, they could get out. If they didn't, but it's the same anywhere in the Ukraine. They let them out if they had money. If you can't afford it, you can't get out.
The difference probably, Liza, is that in Nazi Germany, education amongst the masses was it was the same as in the UK. Working class people they're cognizant of the issues. I think that the difference is now that whether they're right or wrong is people are much more aware because the educational system did improve.
Yeah, well, then they've wised up a little bit too. But I think that there is going to be civil war in Israel because of people have wised up. I mean, 40% of the people are totally against this war in Gaza, totally against it, going in there, killing little kids and God knows what. And what is the point? Push them down south. No one wants to take them in when they get to the bottom there. I mean, it's a small country. I mean, what is it?
Yeah.
I mean, they've already said that Egypt won't take them in. Are they going to come over here?
Well, I mean, those are some of the practical things that aren't being asked. The questions aren't being asked. You're quite right.
Because Netanyahu, he's part of this terrible cult, and he just hates Jewish people. He's loathed and detests them.
Yeah.
And talk about, here we go. Now, this is something we do have a bit of power over. Mask mandates are now in effect in California, where insanity resides. The return of what we already know doesn't work. It's been increasingly likely over the past few months, but the largest and most significant return of masks mandate is here. Not just at a college or White House event or at a specific company, but a mask mandate that impacts members of the general public. In the late 2023, nearly 4 years after the start of the pandemic, they are back. There's a book by a man called Jan Miller, Unmasked and Illusion of Control. Very good. I suggest you get it. Very good indeed. Okay. Our little mate Klaus Schwab. Isn't he sweet? He's what you'd call a sweet little old man. Here he is. He's talking about changing every aspect of our lives, a total overhaul of the world. They all talk about reducing the population by 7 billion people. Well, they're having a go in Gaza, aren't they? Yeah. They all talk exactly like the Nazis of the Germans in 1930 to 40. They keep talking about the final solution. The Biden administration has expressed devotion to him. He loves the sweet old Klaus. Biden loves him. Yuval Farrell, Biden's Klaus's little runner, says AI can write a better Bible. AI can create the perfect religion. He's a fascist. Utopia always leads to genocide. Yeah. Nazi is not a race of a culture. It's a mentality that members of any race or culture can have. I'm going to read this. Some people have heard it, I'm sure. As then and now. First, they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Not bad.
Very famous saying.
Very famous. Will we make the same mistake?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we are making it.
Yeah.
This is like one. Netanyahu will try to shift the blame. He will try to save his career, but people who have worked under him say he always tries this to shift the blame. But elections coming don't look good for him. No, he'll get away with it. He was told these attacks were coming, but did nothing. Hostages have a high political currency. Yeah, want some of those. We can get some money with this. This I didn't know about Israel. Israel is known as the LGBTQ plus capital of the world. Did they just destroy that image?
Wow.
Israel has spent millions of dollars trying to rebrand itself as a progressive place that is more than just war. They hired a particularly naked woman, Gal Gadot, and marked themselves as a gay haven. The Jerusalem Post calls Tel Aviv the gay capital of the world. So does all that go down the drain?
Well, I mean,
now that
will
they
it go down the drain?
Now that they are in full-fledged war against Hamas. That was on Redacted, very good channel. A couple work out of Portugal, husband and wife. First with the news, very, very good indeed. American couple. Israel can imprison anyone who disagrees with the government. Civil war is imminent, said this. Blood on the streets, Jews against Jews, anti-Nazi Jews. Netanyahu deliberately fosters the press to exaggerate the violence of Hamas. Little bit of deja vu here. Voice or no voice, the people can always be brought to the bidding of the leaders. All you have to do is tell them they are being attacked and denounce the pacifists for lack of patriotism and exposing the country to danger. It works the same in any country, said Hermann Göring, German military commander and Hitler's designated successor. Was that the chap that took the poison?
The
Was that the fellow that took the poison?
Oh,
What was Goring, wasn't it?
oh no. Well, he did. Yes, at
He
the
took a
Nuremberg
he took a
trials.
cyanide
Yeah,
tablet
but
because he knew they were going to hang him.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, how did he get that tablet? I
Well,
wonder.
they were very clever. Apparently, every Nazi leader had one put into his tooth,
Yes.
and if they wanted it, they all had to do was grind their teeth in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. They must have had regular fun is looking at their American prosecutors and going, "No, sir, I did not."
Yeah.
Boing.
Mind you, they say that that's no picnic, that cyanide. It takes a little while to work, you know. And it's not too pleasant. Yeah.
They must have chosen above anything else for some reason, though.
Huh?
They must have chosen this as the drug of choice.
Well, yeah, because it was the quickest, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like me to talk about some 15-minute cities?
Oh, I would.
You love that subject,
don't
you?
I do, because I think that it's, out of all the things that we talk about, it's the one that's closest to happening.
Yeah, it's happened. Yeah. 15-minute cities. They say that they are best for the environment and for our carbon images, you see. It's all to do with this change of the weather. You know, oh God, what a hoax this is. 15-minute cities. Controversial, low traffic neighborhoods made permanent in East Oxford. They were trying them out, weren't they?
Yes.
You see, now they're permanent. 3 low traffic neighborhoods, LTNs, will be retained with cameras replacing road blocking bollards. Some residents criticized councillors for ploughing ahead despite lacking consent. The Oxfordshire County Council, which is led by a Liberal Democratic Green Alliance, agreed to keep the controversial traffic limiting scheme around Diversity Road, St Clement's and St Mary's on Tuesdays after a heated 3-hour meeting, which became rowdy at times. However, traffic blocking bollards will be replaced with automatic number plate recognition ANPR cameras, so emergency services, taxis, bin collectors, and postmen can drive through. A resident opposing the plan accused councillors of disregarding the pleas and suffering of the people and businesses in favour of a selfish minority of idealists, adding, "We will vote you out." Yeah. You see, these cities, I will explain them again, they're cut up. They take a town, big town or a city, and they chop it up into 15-minute radiuses. You see, where you will have a grocery store, a hairdresser's, a doctor's, maybe a little playground, tiny one, grass playground for the kiddies. The base, maybe a dentist, the basic things that you need, all within a 15-minute radius of either walking or riding a bicycle. But if you have a car and you want to take it out of this radius or drive it in this 15-minute city, no, you won't be able to do that unless you go to the council and ask them for permission to leave.
To drive your car out of
drive your car out of the 15-minute city.
And they'll know if you do it without asking permission because of this.
Yes, but you can no longer do that without permission because of all these lights and the stuff they have put up. So what about if you want to go and visit someone for half a day or whatever, because they only allow you in your car out of the city for 100 hours a year. Well, it's 52 weeks in a year,
Yes.
a couple of hours a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you come back late, then you have to pay a £70 fine. If you come back an hour late.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Okay, outrageous. And so what these cities are, they say it cuts down on emissions, you know, everything. We're trying to clean up the planet. But what these cities are, they're nothing more than concentration camps. That's all. Nothing more than concentration camps. And you will be under total surveillance 24 hours a day in your home, outside your home, in your bathroom, everywhere you'll go. And your internet will be tweaked. Yeah. Thanks a lot. And they got through. They tried it out in Oxford, and they've lost the battle there, obviously. And this is to be all over Britain, all over Europe and America. This is your WEF. Thank you very much. And our king and our government has allowed these people into this country to do this. Thank you very much, King Charles. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Deliberately calling under New Labour,
Right.
deliberately calling someone by the wrong gender, pronouns, could become a hate crime punishable by imprisonment under a Labour government. The Mail on Sunday can reveal. This would bring transphobic abuse into line with assault and harassment motivated by hatred on the grounds of race or religion, which are punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Critics warn that the policy could therefore mean jail sentences for someone refusing to use a transgender person's preferred pronoun or referring to them by their former name or birth sex rather than chosen gender. Yeah.
You can't call it.
Pardon?
You can't call whatever they are it.
Oh no. Oh no. I'll listen, but that's a hate crime.
Yeah. But
I sense you were thinking that.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that these people want to be given certain privileged positions and then don't want any sort of responsibility landing on their doorstep. It's crazy. I mean, you wouldn't do that to your worst enemy.
No. It's terrible. Anthony Fauci, who was responsible for lockdowns and the poisonous jabs and the face mark saying you need to wear 3, this is mandatory, whereas before they're of no use at all. I've changed my mind. I want you to wear 3 all the time, and I want you to wear 3 if you're fortunate enough to have a sex life and you're making love to someone. You should wear the mask while you are doing that. I mean, and they've just awarded this man.
Darling, can I look into your eyes? Have you got any? Oh dear.
Fauci, who has broken every law under the sun over there and should be imprisoned for life, has been given an award. And now he's back. The little elf is back. Fauci declares lockdowns were absolutely justified and suggests they should be used again to force vaccinations so we can bash your door down and come in and give you one. FDA approves RSV shots for pregnant women and groups push HPV vaccines for 9-year-olds. YouTube's new policy censor Americans who disagree with World Health Organizations. Yeah, they would do. I don't know what's happened to those people. You know, I used to love America and American people. I thought they were so
And I don't
so
think,
generous, so
yeah,
nice. You
I
know.
don't think they're going any worse than we are here. And for that matter, from what Harry said this morning in France, I think this is, as I said to you earlier before we actually went on the air. I said, it's beginning to expand, and as you said, it's everywhere.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is, yeah. But haven't I been saying this for a
Yeah,
whole year?
yeah.
Over 18 months now, Keith. I've
Absolutely.
been saying this. And you thought I was outrageous at times, didn't you?
No, me, never.
Never.
Wouldn't dare.
No, you questioned me.
Well, that's my
but you
role as a
don't anymore.
journalist.
You
I have
don't
to.
anymore.
It's
Yeah.
important that you get the
David's-
answers. Yeah.
Of course. I'm pulling your leg. David Sorensen, this poor man has had heart attacks. He's had his life threatened. But he's been banned everywhere. But he keeps pushing on, and the man is incredible. He unearthed all this child abuse business in the Netherlands, child sacrificing and things. He was the man that did all this. Okay, he's back. Stop World Control. Please go to his website. How the WHO grooms children for pedophiles in public schools worldwide, mutilation of children. Teachers feel guilty if they don't go along with this. These people have no boundaries. Go to his site and he'll tell you who runs the world and what these people are about, I tell you. Okay. Now, there's something, this is very, very important. There is something called, well, I'll tell you about a man called Jordan Peterson, if you haven't heard of him. I didn't particularly have too much patience. He uses big, long words to make himself look educated, the way a lot of these people do now, these bloggers, So people don't, oh, he's educated, he knows, because he's just used a word that I can't understand.
It's right out of context.
Yeah. He had some good points, I think, when he started off over there in Canada. He was in the colleges, and he taught young men how to behave, clean your room up, tidy yourself up, how to have some principles. And he got a lot of respect from the youngsters.
Right.
So I didn't follow him in particular, but I just heard from Max Hurd, who said he had time for him. So, okay, that seemed pretty good. He got thrown out of Canada by the guy there, by Trudeau, for, I don't know, offended someone. Don't know what he did. So I had certain sympathy for the man and regard, but one would. But he's changed. He's been got at. So sad, because he was sitting there with Netanyahu when the terrorists came, and he said, get in there and give them hell. Give them hell. Now then, he has now apologized for saying that. I was wrong to say that. It was the heat of the moment, and Okay, mate, give you that one. That's okay, even though he was sucking up to Netanyahu. We give you that. You've apologized. You got yourself out of a hell of a lot of trouble by doing that too. So let's see if you meant it. Now then, there is an organization, and this is very, very important. It's called ARC. That means ARC. ARC always means trouble. We got to get the animals out and get into an ark, and do something about this. It's called the Reliance for Responsible Citizenship. Now then, he is fronting this organization, which he claims he has put together through going through Europe and America and saying, look, things are very wrong here with Klaus Schwab, and this lot, and, that it's not right. The people don't like this sort of thing. So what we need is an opposition party to them.
Right.
So, okay. Sounds okay? And he said, I went all over the place and I just talked to people. Well, now, what would you like? And they said a Reliance for Citizenship. And these were very, very wealthy people that I've got together in Europe and America and Britain. They've listened to me, and they want me to front this, which is such a privilege. And we are going to challenge the opposition here. Okay. ARC means ARC, the Reliance for Responsible Citizenship. Gordon Peterson has organized this big bunch of billionaires in order to challenge the WEF. Unfortunately, all of these men and women are the same as the other lot. Check these people out on this website because this woman is fantastic. Go to amazingpolly.net. You will be amazed. This woman is fantastic. She has checked all these new people out, and they are all affiliated in some way or another with the opposite side and George Soros.
That's Mr. Soros.
Thank you. Yes, yes, indeed. And there's a whole bunch of them there. At this research this woman has done is unbelievable, Keith. You've got to get her on your show. You've absolutely got to.
Yeah.
She is someone to be reckoned with.
Again?
Her name is Amazing Polly.
Right.
Amazing Polly. Yeah, and she's been around. She works out of Canada. And you would have great empathy for what she has to say there. I tell you, you've got to get her on your show, Keith. We've got to somehow we've got to arrange for her to talk to you because I'm knocked out with her for the effort that she has put into this. She deserves a medal the size of a hubcap in my book because being in the business that I seem to be in at the moment, I know how very, very hard she's worked at what she has discovered. Okay, that's me for this week. Thank you so much for listening.
Very full report this week, Liza. That's over 40 minutes worth now.
Okay, well, and, I think we should give people a break.
Well, yes, but when it's full of information like that is probably what I would ask you to do is next week, if you would take one or two of the really key points that you think and spend a minute or two explaining them exactly.
Yes, well, as soon as I go home, I've finished here. I have an appointment, but this evening I can't wait to get on to Amazing Polly again because the information I'm getting from that woman is, worth its weight in gold. Yeah, she's educating me, I can tell you.
Well, I'll be damned. Yes.
So it's getting a little bit exciting,
it is.
But we've got to keep pushing. Oh, please, we've got to keep pushing. And all we have to say is no. No, that's all. No violence, no angry words. Just say no. I don't want any of it. Thank you.
Well, as correspondent Harry Atherton said, there's a used a phrase that I haven't heard people use for quite some time, and that is the silent majority. Perhaps because the, quote, opposition, the people who perpetrate these things and don't want them examined, don't like to admit that there is any opposition. It's silent, and that it is numbers. It's got substantial numbers. It's important that you actually pay attention and try hard to understand exactly the ramifications. What's going to happen? What are the conclusions? You draw your conclusions from everything that you pick up from Liza. But I have said to you, and I said to her, we don't retain very much. That's why I've asked her to repeat a couple of these things. certainly on the 15-minute cities, I've asked her time and time again to keep on talking about it, because now the 15-minute cities is coming into my conscience. I'm sure it's coming into yours, and that's what we really are all about: is make you aware, make you
Absolutely.
aware.
Because you see, I'm reading about this stuff, so many hours. I live and breathe it, Keith, as you well know.
Mm-hmm.
And other people are just out living their lives, having a good time, going about their business.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
They don't realize the danger that they are in.
The lollipops will be taken away if they're not careful.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Excellent.
Okay,
right.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Right. Now, we on Friday, not sure whether they'll come from on Wednesday, but on Friday, we're going to come from the Black Horse. Will that become our permanent home? I don't know. The gentleman there, Declan, is just an excellent man, and has weighed everything up. I found it very interesting, Liza, this. We pour all sorts of money into groups which are supposed to be in the public interest, and who do much the same as we do, except in one particular point. And they get, well, in one case, given rent-free a whole big ex-council. We didn't mention who, did we? No.
No. No.
And that we've talked to 2 or 3 people who get public funds. They don't want to know. They don't want to know about television. And supporters come from the private sector.
In fact, in this little town, they would rather that we didn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, right. Let's face facts. Lewis is not interested in my opinions, your opinions, or anybody else that we put on here. No, because they're frightened.
Well, one thing that they are finding out is that they are isolating themselves because the reaction we get from outside the town and from outside the country is growing all the time. Yes. It's overwhelming. Yeah. Yes. So pay attention, folks. Pay attention. You don't have to agree, but if you ignore it, you go to sleep at the switch.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. It's like my lovely David Icke. You've got to read him. You've got to read this man, for goodness sake. I always say, read him if you dare, but don't read him at your peril.
Okay. I'm not done. I'm not ready to go yet. It's that twitchy finger. Look. See, it's that twitchy finger. Now, we are going to say goodbye. We'll be back on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock as usual. We're early birds, but then so are you. In fact, a lot of you say that you listen or watch lying in bed. Oh, would that I could do the same thing. No, we will be back. All joking aside. Are you joking me? They would say in Northern Ireland. Are you joking me? Well, I'm not joking you. We'll be back Wednesday morning with more heady stuff and interesting. In fact, on Wednesday, you heard Liza say she has some concern over the way that universities are influencing nowadays. One of the things that we're getting involved with, but we're handling reports on, is the lecture hall less university. They're the first one in the country, and it's already raised a considerable amount of money, and it won't be mainstream in Lewis, but we will be the first satellite of it. And Dr. Mark Mabey is heading that up, and he's appearing at 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. So tune in for that. Very interesting stuff. Okay, now we can go. Ta-da.